Zoom lady has spoken. And we're ready to start. So welcome. This is the webinar all about rubrics. Please do respond in the chat with questions. Feel free to, point out questions or doubts or whatever you want. It's a good idea to go ahead and log in to a Formative if you'd like to play around while I'm doing the webinar. It is totally up to you. Just log in your usual way. A little bit about me before we really get started. My name is Veena. It's very nice to be here and very lovely to meet you all, although I can't see your faces. I look forward to interacting on chat. I am a former teacher. I am also a dog parent. He's not around here, actually, for a change. Otherwise, he might start barking in the middle. And I'm not from around Massachusetts, which is where I am, but I've been around a little bit. I've been teaching in New Jersey and India and sort of from all over. So I'm looking forward to getting this started for you all. This session is being recorded, as you just heard the Zoom lady. It is scheduled for 30 minutes. And like I said, please do type your questions or comments in the chat. Okay. So what do we want to do with this session? We want to make sure that you know where to find the rubric feature. We want to make sure you know how to create a rubric and how you can use rubric templates, as well as how to grade using a rubric. Those are our objectives. So let's get started. Now, this is a little screenshot of what you typically see when you click on that plus sign to create, add content or add questions when you're creating your formative. So this, hold on, I'm just gonna make this everyone, right? So when you see this screen, you typically see, all your question types and your content types, right? The ones that can have rubrics attached are the ones that are highlighted here. So the audio response can have a rubric, file response, free response, show your work, and video response. These are the ones that you can add rubrics to, which kind of makes sense. So let's go ahead and dive in. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and start a new formative. And let's title this webinar on bricks and go ahead and click on that plus sign. So let's see, let's do a free response. Why not? All right. So let's say we want to ask, let's just pretend that there's been talk of a character and a story, and we can ask something like, what does Shamsia mean by graffiti? And I know I'm spelling this wrong. It's one of the tricky ones. Is a friendly way to fight. And this is a free response question based on some text that talks about this incredible graffiti artist, Shamsia Hasni. This is someone real, by the way, quite an incredible woman. And she's a graffiti artist. So graffiti is a friendly way to fight. Now, obviously, with such questions, all you need to do is toggle on your rubric. And here you can see what happens when I toggle it on is that you have a whole bunch of rubrics already here. These are templates. This is because I have created a lot of templates that are actually blank because I was playing around with the feature. But basically, at any point, you can create a new rubric right here. Or you can use rubric templates that you have saved. So let's go ahead and create a new rubric. This is what it looks like. It's a nice big blank page. You can give your new rubric template a name. So let's say I'm titling this free response rubric. And you can make this a general free response rubric or title it whatever you want. So if I want to keep it specific to this character, I can do that. or whatever you want to title it. You can give it a description. This is for the Shams. No, this is for the, I don't know, story of Shamsia. Okay. And then you can add as many criteria as you like going down by just clicking this. Really simple. And then each criteria have however many levels you feel they should have. So, you know, your criteria could be, I don't know, communication. Maybe that's one criteria. Maybe another criteria would be I don't know, spelling, grammar, traditional grammar, things like that, right? And every level you can, you know, describe whatever way you want. You can give it a title as well as a description, and more importantly, change the points according to whatever you feel it requires. When you're done filling this out, click your done button, and it comes up as, oh goodness, I have too many free response rubrics here. I should have named it something else, but it does come up right here in this list. And as soon as it comes up, you can use it or use another one, whatever you want. And once you decide to use it, it asks you if you are sure you use the rubric. Now it's attached to this question. So what this means is that now this rubric is literally attached to the question, and it's got here 5 points. Why does it have 5 points? Because that's how many points I've put here. That's how many points you can get. So now that you've done that, I also want to let you know that you can copy questions, right? When you copy a question, the rubric attaches itself to the copied question as well, which is great because if you want to use the same rubric, you know, multiple times, you can. So this is just something I thought I'd point out. So remember, you can assign point values to rubrics, and those stick around and allow you to grade accordingly. So you can also use an existing rubric. So remember, any rubric you create stays in this list. So you'll always have them. Of course, you can, again, copy rubrics or delete them. You can make another copy of the same rubric template and then make edits in it if you'd like, or you can delete them. Don't do what I've done and name them all the same thing. I'm sure you'd be smarter at that than me. This is just, I'm just playing around with it. And remember that if you'd like to, like I said, you know, make a copy and change something up in it, you can. It'll just say copy of copy. That example of naming, I'm sure you'll do better. Let's all now actually take a formative and see what the grading looks like. So I have a formative here, which has just one question. Really simple. It's a show your work question. Remember, you can add rubrics to 5 different types of questions, I think. Let's see that. Was I right? Yes, 5, right? Audio file, free, show your work, and video. So here's a show your work question. It's already got a rubric attached to it. I'm going to assign that to you. Here's your joining information. I'm going to plug this in the chat as well. So here's my link. Where are you? There you are. Let me put the chat on. Here's the link to the formative. I've just placed it in the chat. You can click directly on that link. Or if you'd like, you can also, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to join. You can also click on that. You can go to app.formative.com.join, which I just plunked in the chat, and there's your join code. I'm going to go straight to my view responses so that I can see, and I can hide names or not hide names. It doesn't matter. I'm going to sort this by submission date so I can see who's joined. So Patrick, I think you've joined. Anyone else? Not yet. Well, I'll wait for a couple of seconds. Jennifer, you did? Am I just not seeing you? Maybe I just need to refresh. Yep, there you are. There you are. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so go ahead and play around with that question. I'm going to go straight here so I can actually see what you're doing. I'll look for you. These are all the other people who've done this. There you are. Now note, can you see the rubric? Did you notice the rubric? Yes, you can. Okay, great. So remember that as a student, you will always be able to see the rubric. So you know what your teachers expect of you. That's excellent. So if I were to say, okay, I love the way this is going, I can immediately, now here I've just clicked on one student, right? I've clicked on Patrick, I think. I can go ahead and award points according to what I feel this student deserves at any point. And then that's, if I go back to my total screen, you'll be able to see that Patrick has got a 50% here because that's what I've awarded, right? He's gotten 6 out of 12. Does that make sense? So it actually, like, you can actually grade on rubrics and it works beautifully. I also wanted to show, oh, that's me. So you can also remember that you can also batch grade. So if I were to click on 2 people or 3 people at the same time, I can batch grade and change their grades accordingly for all of them at the same time, just like I can give feedback. Send button's hiding behind my screen. Just like I can give feedback in batch to all my students at the same time. Did you all get that feedback? Oh, Elizabeth, I missed you. Miranda got the feedback. That's great. I've got too many people in this. Where's Elizabeth? There you are. There. So now I can give you some feedback. So immediately, as you can see, based on what points I've awarded, once I submitted it, it disappeared. Yeah, because you're a guest student. So, you know, if you want, you can click on that link that I sent again and just enter with a different name or something. Winnie the Pooh or something, just for fun. And you can enter it again. But because this is a guest student, you're a guest student right now, it doesn't like keep your data. So that's why we don't recommend teachers using guest students in actual classes. But this works really well for our webinars and for other purposes. So as you can see, whenever we grade, exactly what we grade shows up as your percentage. Can you grad? Oh, yes, absolutely. Batch grading is amazing. Okay, so all I do is now I'm here on my view responses screen, right? I'm going over to that question and I'm just going to do it for random people here, whoever I see. So if I sort of go over and see that, okay, these people seem to have gotten it right. I'm going to click all the people who I feel have got it right there where their little name is. You see this little icon here? That's what I've done. Now I've got 5 selected. I can grade. I can give feedback for all 5 students at once. Now, what's important to note is that the students don't know that you've given batch feedback. They don't know that they've all got the same feedback, right? But you save time. You don't have to type the same thing over 5 times. And kids oftentimes make the same mistakes, right? They generally can end up sort of making similar mistakes. And when that happens, you can save time by just batch grading and doing it that way. So you send feedback to all 5 people at once, you grade the rubric, all 5 people at once, whatever saves time, because we all know how much time you have. How did you get there again? How did I get to the batch grading? I'll show you again. Yeah, okay. So remember, I'm just going to take this back one step just to make sure you're all on the same page. So this is your edit screen, right? Where you create the formative. I assigned it. Now I'm in my view responses screen, right? So this is after you've assigned the formative. So whenever, now this is, supposing this is my whole class. This is my totals screen, right? So I can see my totals here. But if I want to go detailed and start grading, then I can click on the question number. This formative only happens to have one question. I click there. So let's say now I can see all my students' work. Now let's say I'm going over here and I can see that Jill, Kim, Alicia, and Elaine have, for example, all made the same mistake. So I'm going to click on all of them just like I did and go ahead and give them whatever grade I feel they need and whatever feedback I feel that they need. You know, that could be an explanation that I give them, audio or whatever feedback, image, a math, explanation, or a video, or maybe I explained something to them yesterday and I'd like to just talk to them. So then I can just give them audio feedback, things like that. And it goes to all of them at once. Yeah, batch feedback is a huge time saver. Yeah, and then whenever you're done, you can, click send now or delayed, right? That's up to you, whatever you feel makes the most sense. Remember, you can also draw feedback. You can also draw feedback on their show your work. It doesn't change what they've done, but it comes as a separate thing. So I'll show you what that looks like. So let's say, here's Jenny, right? I'm going to go ahead and type some feedback here, which I already did, but I can do that. I can also draw feedback. So you see how she's used this? I can draw feedback for her and say, let's say, great, try doing this next time, something, right? Oh, and let me do one thing. Let me just show you that. Let me put this in like a different color. Oh, does it not do that? Or maybe it will if I do it now. No, it's not changing color. I didn't change color. That's why. Sorry about that. Oh, I don't know why it's not changing color. I'm not doing something right. It doesn't matter in the purpose of time. Basically, now I have written feedback for her on her show your work. And if I send that, she'll get that. When I am in as a student and click on the rubric next to the question, nothing shows up. Oh, you have to click on the word rubric. So, okay, do you see? Okay, let me show this to you. I'm in your student preview, okay? So this screen is basically what you're seeing as a student. Notice there are 2 things here. There's a comment box and there's the rubric. That's 2 separate things. The comment box is for you to initiate feedback. So you as a student can go ahead and click on that comment box and then send me a question. I don't understand this. How do I do this? This is what I wrote. Is it right? But if you click on rubric, then you'll see the rubric. Does that make sense? Perfect. So yes, you can totally look at the rubric as a student, and you can also ask the teacher a question. One of you can try and do that, and I will get a little notification that I have a comment to check from a student. I'll get a little notification up here if one of you send me some feedback, which is neat. Yeah, the student gets notified. So if I send you, well, again, do you get notified as a guest student? I know your students will get notified as real students. But as a guest student, I think I'm not sure, as a guest student, but a real student would get notified because they have a student dashboard and they'll be able to see it. Any other questions? We're pretty much done. This is what I had, but I love the questions, so please keep them coming. Can you show again how to add the rubric? Yep, absolutely. Let's go back. So here we are in our formative, right? Remember that there are 5 question types on which you can add a rubric, okay? And there's, you don't have to remember these. I mean, it's sort of obvious. There's an audio response, a file response, a free response, show your work, and there was one more, video response. So let's do video response, okay? So I want my students to record a video response. I don't know, record yourself doing 20 push-ups or something. Let's do it. Here, all you need to do is toggle this on. Text just like that. And like I said before, you'll have all your rubric templates. Whatever you've created will remain here for you to choose from. And you will obviously not be naming them the same like I have done. You will name them differently, which makes sense. I just didn't. But you can also create a new rubric template at any time. Again, just name it, add however many criteria you want, however many levels you want, decide how many points each level is worth, all of this stuff, and then it just lives here in your rubric templates. Choose whichever one you want to attach to this question, and it attaches itself. Can you do partial points? I believe you can, because that's an upgrade, isn't it? You're testing me now. I think that's an upgrade. I believe you can do that now. Am I right? Yes, you can. You can. They just did that. This is new. Right? Upgrade. Yep. Jennifer knows. Thank you for that. Great version. Yes. So that's the new thing. You can. So just type it in, whatever your points are, and you'll be able to grade accordingly, which is really neat. Yep, just put it in manually. That's right. Just like how I just did it. Where was I? This is the student version. Oh, go back to my edit screen. Here's my comparison. See, this one is worth 2.5. Yeah, like whatever. Anything else that you'd like to know? Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. And we still have a few minutes, so I'm happy to hang out. If you have any other questions or you'd like to see something, you are most welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, totally. And it's like rubrics are always so useful. I know my daughter loves being able to see what the teacher's looking for, right? And when we want them to really show their thinking and show all the ways they know a concept, then those more open-ended sorts of questions are fantastic to use. And rubrics make it all easier to understand on the student side and easier to grade on the teacher side. I wanted to just share this with you. Looking for more resources, don't forget our training center, of course, which is how you got here, which has our webinars. Our help center is pretty fantastic too. So type in a keyword in there, and it's got great articles. They do a really good job. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming.